European Socialist Group in the European Committee of the Regions.
Thank you, dear friends, dear colleagues. I'm extremely happy that we had the chance today to host this great event. It has been a long and rich day with so many inspiring interventions. Before anything else, I want to thank warmly all the partners who made the possible. Together, we have shown we are not short of ideas and vigor. We spoke about many things today: competitiveness, transatlantic relations, the clean industrial deal, just transition, tariffs, EU budget, Green Deal, working conditions. It is not easy to make proper concluding remarks, but some important points emerge clearly. As progressive, we support the principle behind the clean industrial deal, not as a replacement for the Green Deal, but as a complement and a line of action. The vision presented by Teresa Ribera is one we share, a competitiveness based on 3 pillars: sustainability, affordable energy for households and companies, public procurement that favors European capacity. Local capacity would be even better when possible. We believe that sustainability and the Green Deal approach is not a burden on our industry, but rather, it's the competitive advantage we have to seek for our industry. It's the only way forward if our competitiveness has to last over time. And I say this not as a climate enthusiast. I say this because it's what I see and hear from the businesses in my area. I come from Lucca in Tuscany, in Italy, where we have an excellent paper industry district. It is already clear, unless the public sector helps companies become more resource efficient, more sustainable, with lower energy costs thanks to renewable solutions and a real energy union, we will lose productive capacity in this rural region. We cannot be as naive as we were with globalization. The energy transition, the digital transition and the fast arrival of AI tools will create winners and losers. From this House, Committee of Regions and the PS Group perspective, I must add an important point which also seems to collide with the idea of competitiveness and economic development presented by von der Leyen. As I have said a couple of times already, true competitiveness isn't about a few stars. It's about lighting up the whole map of Europe. There cannot be a competitive Europe if its regions are not competitive. The choice of abandoning a genuine EU approach to industrial policy, to competitiveness, to Green Deal in favor of 27 national strategy, as also illustrated in the Commission proposals for the MFF, has 2 results. It weakens the EU ability to engage in serious planning and ability to decide on EU spending. Second point, it risks saddling those regions that are less able to shine in the global market. What economic model do we want in Europe? Do we want to continue concentrating production in a few sites while pushing people into overcrowded and overpriced cities? Do we want to further abandon mid-sized cities and small industrial districts not yet equipped for the race against China and USA? Haven't we already noticed how much anger and resentment there is among people in the periphery and rural areas, how much they feel ignored because their prospects are not improving? I believe we need a model that levels up the entire Union. We are in the Jacques Delors building, and it is with his teaching that I want to conclude. When he pushed for more integration, for the 4 freedoms and the single market that would deliver more trade and more competitiveness, he also doubled down on cohesion and regional fund. Competitiveness requires cohesion. We cannot accept a situation where spending priority has pushed one against the other. We cannot accept territories left behind because the ultimate results will be disaffection with politics, with the public sector, and with the European project itself. We must stand strong for a competitive Europe that is sustainable and just, for workers, for SMEs, and for the less productive territories of our Union. Thank you. Let me welcome on the podium FEPS President Maria João. Maria, let me sincerely thank you. Thank you on FEPS, not only for today, but also for your leadership and your drive that in these years. You have been fundamental to transform FEPS in the real thinking lab that this family needs. Thank you, Maria.
Let me start by expressing my gratitude for these very kind words. And this is not the moment for me to close this conference. We are very proud that the rentrée, we launched a policy conference habit. So now you need to prepare for this. From now on, FEPS and together with the FES, so great partner in Brussels, and with the 100 years of work, remarkable work, we have decided that in the rentrée we'll open with a policy conference. So I'd like to express my gratitude to all the other partners who join. This is, of course, the host, the committee, the PES in the Committee of Regions, the trade union organization, and also the PES. I will speak now not only as FEPS president, but as the chair of the Party of European Socialists regarding economic and financial issues. And I will wrap up what happened here. It was an extremely interesting discussion, so with a big variety of opinions, so many thanks for the speakers and the participants. I will wrap up in these terms. This time around, we have made a choice to focus the policy conference on how to conduct our commitment with the green transition by playing with stronger tools. We have the invitation from the Draghi report to go to stronger tools, but we progressives, we have in mind even stronger tools to make sure that, notably, when we speak about the Green Deal, we will move ahead with the Green Deal, but with fair transition. And this means a very active industrial policy and a very active social policy. And the part of this conference was exactly about this. Nevertheless, we have a new challenge because the context, the international context, is changing so deeply that we need also to take this into account. And the afternoon session was exactly dealing with this, because we understand that the so-called neoliberal trade regime is probably coming to an end. We are dealing with a completely different way to use trade instruments, particularly from the Trump's administration, so weaponizing trade policy to impose many other objectives. And so the question we need to ask is, what should be our alternative? Because our alternative is just not going back to the past. We really need to offer a new approach for a new trade regime. And I believe that this is not just about dealing with, someone referred to as a Keynesian approach. No, because we are conducting a big transformational change with the green transition and the digital transition. So this is much more complex. And so we can ask what should be the role of the European Union, particularly under a progressive perspective. Well, I would say first objective is to push for a reform of the WTO. Frankly, it seems to me this will be an extremely complex task because this is not only about using trade and improving standards when conducting the green transition. We have something which is taking place right now in front of our eyes, is the implications of AI. They are tremendous implications. I think we are still digesting the implications of these, but this will make the international division of labor much more complex, and the reform of WTO also much more complex. Nevertheless, I believe that European progressives should really work hard in this direction. But then we have the second big task. Is exactly how can we reshape our relationship with the world to make sure that we move in the green transition, but we also cooperate with the others to move in the same direction. And that's why I very much agree with some of the suggestions coming in the last panel that Europe should reinvent the way it's dealing with the world. We need to focus on bilateral agreements which are much more comprehensive. They should be not only about trade, but about development cooperation, technological cooperation, and offering also some kind of financial support. A good example is what can be done with the new global gateway, which is being shaped for the next phase. I really think we need to think big. But then I would like to also conclude with a particular reference to our relationship with the United States. Because we just concluded a trade deal which will be now submitted to the scrutiny of the European Parliament and Council, a trade deal which is really controversial. I'm also very critical about this trade deal because, in fact, this is not only a trade deal, it's a trade deal with many other concessions on many other fronts where Europe went too far. So I think we should be really worried with this. And we know that the reason why these concessions were made, so I'm being extremely frank, is because Europe depends on the American backup to deal with the Russian pressure in Ukraine. This is the real reason these concessions were made. So what can be our way to deal with this dilemma? I think we only have one way, is on one hand to build stronger security guarantees for Ukraine, on the other hand to widen our autonomy in many other fronts when it comes to our social standards, our environmental standards, but also our digital autonomy. So there is a lot of work to be done. But I think this is the only way to deal with this situation. My final point, because Damien was referring to this, and frankly, I think was so meaningful of the new era we are in, is what happened yesterday in the United Nations General Assembly. I really recommend that you can have a look to the speech delivered by President Trump, because our American friends were calling for more international solidarity. I completely agree. But what we got from President Trump was a strong call, 1 hour speech, to make a call for international nationalism. If everybody follows his recipe, international cooperation will just disappear, will just implode. So this is the times we are in, and that's why I think we progressives should really value much higher international cooperation. This is more needed than ever. We are very pleased that we could welcome our American progressive colleagues coming here. Always welcome. For sure, we'll work together. And I also like to say that we should be proud that by being together in this policy conference with a progressive perspective, we could bring some interesting ideas for the European institutions to work for the next phase. This is our purpose, and I think we achieved it, so we should be proud. And so many thanks for all the speakers and all the participants, and a big thanks for our host, PES in the Committee of Regions. Thank you very much.
So this ends our official part for today is over, but the event is not over. So we invite you to the drinks reception, which is in the same place as lunch, on the left. Thank you so much.